Jamming with History, Chapter 14 Dress Rehearsal. Virgil's Uncle Patton dropped Roman off at home. The weather had cooled down a bit as the evening approached, but it was still more comfortable to go in a car with an AC than on a bike wearing a leather jacket. So he and Virgil had said their goodbyes at Virgil's place, and now Roman was left with his thoughts and a softly humming Patton. "Thank you for the ride, Mr. Patton," Roman said when they parked in front of his home. Roman had let him through the gate. "No problem, kiddo." "Roman?" Roman looked back, letting go of the door handle. That was definitely a serious talk sort of tone. "Yes?" he asked, a little nervous. "Virgil and I aren't related by blood, but I've known him all his life. He is very dear to me. He is very strong and brave and kind, but he has a tender heart. Please be gentle with it," Patton said softly. "Oh!" Roman felt a blush creep upon him as he realized what Patton was implying. "Virgil is my friend. I would never do something to hurt him," he promised. Patton chuckled. "Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Have a nice weekend, Roman," Patton bid. "You too, sir." Roman smiled nervously as he got out and hurried up the steps. He waved Patton off for a moment before entering the house. "Master Roman, what happened to your clothes?" Danny wondered as soon as Roman entered. Roman grinned and spun around. "Looks good, right? I sweat through my clothes on the way, so the Sanders family offered me some fresh clothes." He caught sight of himself in the hallway mirror and couldn't help a smile as he took in his appearance again. Not for the first time, he wondered if he could pull off contacts. "Roman?" The young actor looked up at his mother's voice. His parents were standing in the doorway in the dining area. "Hi," he smiled as he walked over, feeling the need to give them a hug after the day he's had. Maybe it was because the Sanders family was so loving and generous with affection. Maybe it was because of the emotional vulnerability he shared with Virgil. He was not sure. His parents, upon realizing his intent, were surprised but welcomed his gesture. "What has brought this on, dear?" his mother wondered. "I don't know. I just felt like it," Roman admitted as he stepped back. "Well, there's no better reason for a hug, I suppose," his father smiled as he ran a hand through Roman's already messy hair. It felt like ages since they had had a moment like this. His parents had been busy, and he had been taking some distance due to his frustrations with them. He strangely felt like he was 12 again, and chuckled as he smoothed out his hair a bit. "That tie looks good on you," his father mused in approval. "Yeah, I like it too," Roman grinned excitedly as he spun around to show the complete look off to his parents. When he faced them, he saw his mother with that sad smile she sometimes had. The "my son is growing up" smile. "Well, if you like it that much, I'm sure we can find you a few so you can switch it up a little," she told him warmly. Roman lit up and nodded. "That sounds great. Oh, and before I forget, Virgil asked me if we could go shopping together for my birthday," he told him, so it kind of came out as a question. "Oh," his mother breathed in surprise. Yeah, I was thinking of getting a few nice belts and some ties I pick out for myself, maybe. Maybe try out contacts or different frames." He looked at his parents hopefully. He had plenty of clothes he liked. He just wanted to make a few changes in the way he'd been accessorizing. "Oh, well, if you want to try contacts, we can certainly arrange that," his mother assured him. "Let's talk about it over dinner, shall we?" his father suggested. Roman nodded and followed his parents to the dinner table. The rest of that week, Roman dressed himself a little differently, ditching the suspenders and switching the bow tie for either a necktie or skipping on the neckwear entirely. And people noticed. Virgil gave him a nod of approval when he picked him up on Monday, and as they walked to their first class together, they were both aware of the return of the stares and whispers. People had just stopped talking about them being friends, it seemed. "Better get ready, Princey. There might be suitors on the horizon." "Maybe your Julian is among them," Virgil teased. "Shut up," Roman grinned as he gave Virgil a playful elbow to the side. He appreciated the Shakespeare reference, though. Woman quickly learned that if he was going to wear a necktie, Virgil would find an excuse to pull on it. Also learned that he didn't mind that too much, though Virgil would have to be careful with that habit once the vultures came. Woman, you gotta settle something for us, Alexander called out during lunch on Thursday. Woman had been a bit absent-minded all day. His audition that weekend had gone well. He'd been told he'd heard if he was casted by tonight. What? He asked. You and Virgil, are you for real or just playing it up for the joke? Woman frowned, not sure what his friend was going on about for a moment. But then realization struck. Oh, we aren't. He isn't. I mean, woman flushed bright red. Okay, you aren't. But you want to, right? Clara grinned. Woman looked on. I mean, wouldn't mind, he admitted. But, Zainab pressed. But I don't want him to think it's for the wrong reasons. If he even feels the same way, and nothing, you two would make an adorable couple. We all agree it's happening, Faith insisted. Woman frowned suspiciously. All? Who's all? He asked. Us and the skaters, Xander clarified. Woman got even redder. Ever since Virgil roped his group into the club misunderstanding, the theater kids and the skaters had been intermingling a lot. It had only been a matter of time before they'd started something like this. But if Virgil's friends were on board, then surely it must mean that they think there is at least a chance that Virgil might like him that way too. Oh, don't look now, but your boyfriend's coming over, Dominic warned. Woman didn't listen to his warning, though, and turned around. Virgil was indeed approaching them with a grin. Guess what, Princey? He asked as he arrived at their table. You've been selected for the Olympics? Roman guessed playfully, hoping to hide his nerves a little, though he was fairly sure he wasn't far off. Virgil had been training more this week. He still dropped Roman off and picked him up as always, but Roman had overheard Virgil discussing his increased schedule with his coach. From what he'd heard before he'd walked away because he didn't want to eavesdrop, Virgil was working towards some big deadline. Maybe Virgil got to represent their district in national competition or something. Virgil grinned and shook his head. Nah, but you get to play a cursed prince this summer, he told him. Roman's eyes widened. I got a part? He asked excitedly. Virgil nodded, and Roman jumped up and hugged him in jubilation. Oh my god, I can't believe it! He cheered excitedly. He felt Virgil chuckle against his chest as he returned the hug. Okay, big guy, glad to see you're so excited, he said as he stepped out of the embrace and playfully tugged at the burgundy tie Roman was wearing. I'll see you later, he waved before heading back to his table. Oh, he's so into you, Zainab grinned. Roman didn't react. He knew that Virgil was into him, on some level, but did he just find him attractive? Or was there a chance that he wanted him romantically? The party on Friday was great. Even family members that couldn't make it over had made sure to video call and sent over either a gift or some birthday cash for Roman to spend on his shopping trip. He was, of course, asked if he had found himself a nice boyfriend or girlfriend yet, and he pretended not to notice that everyone was probing him to come out. He did confess there was someone he had his eyes on. Maybe. But refused to share any more details. He was pretty sure his parents told his aunts, uncles, and grandparents about their suspicions regarding Virgil while he and his cousins went to the playroom to play some video games and the like. Just because he was 18 didn't mean that he was going to skip on any chance to pretend he had a whole bunch of siblings when he given the choice. He was exhausted when he went to bed, but also feeling pretty good. He'd picked out his clothes for tomorrow. He was planning on being the one to blow Virgil away this time. And as a bonus, he'd look good for the cameras too. And he did look good. When he did a last check in the mirror before Virgil was due to arrive, he was very confident in that. He'd chosen a wine red button-up, black jeans, and black dress shoes. He had a black belt with gold vine patterns and belt buckle, matching his black tie with golden vine stitching. Instead of styling his hair like he usually did, he let it fall in its naturally slightly curly model. He also was wearing contacts. He tried them out over the week so he wouldn't show up today with red eyes. To his relief, he had experienced no trouble. The frames he currently had didn't exactly add to the look he was going for right now. He played with his tie a little, wondering if he should leave it a little loose or not. He kind of liked the look with the tie secured. He looked like a young entrepreneur, powerful and charismatic. Suddenly, he heard the bell ring. He hurried downstairs. This time, though, Danny was ahead of him and smirked at him as he opened the door, prompting him to slow down so he could at least make a graceful entrance. Good morning, Virgil Sanders, correct? Danny greeted as he opened the door, sounding taken aback for some reason. Roman braced himself. Not today. He was going to remain in control and cool. He heard Virgil chuckle. The one and only. Nice to meet you, he said, waiting for Danny to introduce himself. Danny Jones. I am steward of the house, Danny offered with a little bow of his head. Cool, Virgil's voice replied. Danny, please don't leave our guests in the doorway, Roman requested as he came closer. He looked at himself and was confident that he looked dashing. He was ready to mace Virgil. Of course, please come in, Danny nodded as he stepped back and held the door open. Roman approached the doorway to greet Virgil and barely managed to school his expression when he stepped into view. Virgil was taking him in. His eyes widened and he had an appreciative smile. But all of that barely got past Roman's gay panic. Virgil was wearing black and white Vans and leggings, a white t-shirt and open black vest. He had a Nightmare Before Christmas messenger bag over his shoulder, a silver chain with a little Beauty and the Beast rose charm on it, elegant rose-studded earrings, violet eyeshadow, and a plaid skirt with a silver chain pulled through the belt hooks. Roman's heart was racing. Virgil looked so pretty. It wasn't fair. Wow, Virgil said. How dare he look so good and sound impressed with him? Didn't think I'd feel underdressed, but I'm second guessing myself. He meant it too. You look great. I've never seen you wear a skirt before, Roman replied, hoping to sound sort of casual. Virgil shrugged. I bought it a while ago because I wanted to try it. And I figured today was a good day for it. And I gotta admit, I don't hate it, he grinned as he spun for Roman. God, it looks so good. It suits you, Woman smiled. Indeed, a very daring choice. Woman spun around to face his parents upon hearing his mother's voice. I'll take that as a compliment, Mrs. Fernandez. It's nice to see you again, ma'am. Sir, my parents asked me to give you this. Virgil stepped into Roman's field of vision again as he approached his parents, slipping his hands into his messenger bag, retrieving a sealed box. Your box back, with my mother's cinnamon cookies inside, he informed them. Tell your parents that we thank them for their thoughtful gift, Roman's mother said sincerely, still taking Virgil in. Am I permitted to take your son out looking like this? I have some pens with me, if you prefer. Roman bit his lip as he heard the way Virgil chose to phrase his request. Though he was glad his parents didn't seem to find the suggestion as alarming as they might have a week ago. Oh no, there is no issue. I was thinking if you would ever consider modeling, actually. We've been working on a gender-neutral line for the summer, and as you might be aware, we try to work with real people for our shoots whenever possible, his mother explained. Virgil seemed surprised. Yeah, I'm aware. That sounds pretty cool, actually. It was ridiculously hard to find a skirt that didn't look dumb on me. Do you mind if I think about it for a bit, though? Oh gosh. Roman wasn't sure if he could handle even the idea of Virgil being the face of one of his parents' collections. Of course, we should let the two of you get going anyway. You are aware Roman will probably be haunted by paparazzi today. I got it. Don't worry. I will make sure they will only catch his good side, he promised. Roman felt his heart skip a beat at that. Virgil was really prepared to go the extra mile for him. I see. Well, in that case, we wish you both a fun day, Roman's father bit gently. Virgil nodded and turned towards Roman with a grin. Come on, Princey. We're losing daylight. Time for your close-up.